As you guys already know, I'm Erica, and I'm going to be addressing the question, does the media control how and what we think? And personally, I believe that the media does control how we think, but I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I think when we talk about things like social media and the news and like all these things that shape how we think, it kind of comes off in a negative light, and I don't believe that's true. I think it's actually a very positive thing. And if you think about it, what else would we be doing? What would we be listening to? It's just kind of how we've evolved as a culture and as people. The first point I want to address is something that a lot of other people have already talked about, but the six main companies that basically own the media. And I got this information from BusinessInsider.com. And there's GE, which basically owns Comcast, NBC, and Universal. News Corp, which owns Fox, Wall Street, New York Post. Disney, which owns ABC, ESPN, and Pixar. Viacom, which owns MTV, Nick Jr., BET, CMT, and Paramount. Time Warner, CNN, HBO, Time, and Warner. And the last one, which is CBS, which owns Showtime, NFL.com, and Jeopardy. That's a pretty big deal that all these main companies basically shape what we watch and what we hear and what we view. That it's basically owned just by those six major people. The second point I'm going to make is something that I found off an article from voicesofyouth.com, which talks about mostly how people view communications. So a few ways that people see communications is a way of them being able to meet and connect with others. Also, people see communications as a social media, which just gives them a chance to send and receive information. And others think that social media and media is just a way to be updated. So if you think about those three things that I just mentioned, altogether, the main point of social media and media is to get to know. And so if you think that all these people think that we're using media to get to know, it's pretty obvious that it's going to shape how we see things, what we think, and how we react to certain situations. So that's definitely a reason why I think the media controls how and what we think. And the last point I'm going to make is actually an article from raisingchildren.net, and it's just about certain ways that communication can influence us. Communication in the media. So one way is with body images. We see all these models, athletes, and famous people, and we decide, hey, that's what I should look like. And that's influenced us probably since we were young, and I'm basically talking about our generation right now. But it works the same way with adults and people much older than us. Another way that media can influence is within violence. Violent media can inspire and even cause more aggressive or violent behavior in people, and I think that's something that we've seen happen throughout the world. And sometimes media, when it influences something, it can be more direct towards a certain aspect, certain group of people, and sometimes it's a more indirect. And so in conclusion, I think that just because media shapes how and what we think, I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing. And I think more people need to start seeing it that way. And thank you.